We are here with Coach Dinha, the legend himself. He's the owner and coach of Shumba Football Development. Coach Dinha, thank you very much for your time. Can you please tell us a bit about Shumba Football Development? How did it come about? What structures do you currently have in the team?
We go back to the year 2012, where myself, Siabulela Loilani, and Coach Mbata, we had an under-17 tournament, and then so it was consists of under-17s from different areas, and then after the tournament, then we sat down and we decided that why can't we help those other kids, to play in the league instead of just a tournament. And then that's when we registered ourselves with the juniors, Soweto juniors, and then that's how we started Shumba Football Development.
Okay. Currently, how many divisions do you have in the team?
We do have under 13s, under 15s, 17s, and under 19s, and then we do have the SAB plays in Johannesburg region.
Okay. All these divisions, are they competing in leagues, or do you have to arrange games for them, gambling and so on, or are they in structured leagues?
Yeah, we do play in a league, the GDL, which is the under 13s to under 19s, and then as I said earlier, the SAB, the men's regional league. We play in the Johannesburg region.
Okay. One will ask that someone like yourself, a legend of the game, you could easily get a job in any PSL team given your credentials. Why did you go to the grassroots and start a team there?
It's always good, to give back to the community, and besides giving back, sometimes it's always good to give what I experienced when I was playing, you know what I mean? So you need to help those boys that wants to make soccer as their career. So you are there to guide them, and also, to make sure that the dreams that they are dreaming, some of them they do come true, of which we know that it's very difficult, that not everybody is going to be a soccer player. Some, they'll end up doing something different. But from the experience that I learned when I was playing, I always want to give it back to the grassroots.
There are many challenges in running a football club, especially in grassroots levels where there's no sponsorship. How are you dealing with that, and what challenges are you facing?
Well, it's not easy, as you said. I mean, it demands a lot. Sometimes you need to have transport for the players to come to training, and also you also need, the transport to have fuel to come to training, and then you need money for the games. When you play, you've got these kids that they play at one field. They need to eat after their games, and then they sit and watch the other ages play again. So that also means that they need food and refreshments, to have after the game. So when you don't have a sponsor, it's kind of a very, very huge challenge. So but slowly we trying to get there, but if we can get a sponsor, I think it will be fantastic.
Okay. So currently, how are you financing the operations of the club?
We knocking at people's doors, asking for assistance. You get people that will assist you, but not a sponsorship. But one would say, okay, no, I'm going to give you money for the referees for this week. Another one will say, okay, I'll provide money for diesel. But it's not every time that you get people like that. So sometimes you need to dig deep in our own pockets and then try to make the development function.
We are here at the Lukop prison, and people will be shocked at what is a football team doing in a correctional facility. So yeah, can you just help us understand?
Okay, I think it's because as I mentioned earlier on, that we started with even Coach Mbata, who's no longer here. So we're just here to use the facilities and also to assist with the young kids in and around Lukop. that needs assistance. So we basically have an agreement in terms of using their facilities.
Okay. You've played the game at the highest level, national and club football, and you are very knowledgeable about the game. What do you make of our football development in South Africa? Do you think you are moving towards the right direction? And I ask this knowing very well you were involved, you were at Ajax, which at some point was producing talent at a very high level, and so you will know a lot about football development. What are your thoughts on the current situation in football development in South Africa?
I think I think there is a lot more that needs to be done. I mean, if I have to take you back when I was at Ajax, we had a very, very good development, and you would find that every time you get youngsters that will come and train with the first team, and then the next season they are already signed their first team contract when they are 16, 17, and it's not happening now again. So I think we need now to step again in the right direction of now grooming them and then putting them in the first team. I think the scariest part with the first team is that we don't take the initiation to put a 16 and a 17-year-old boy and say, listen, let put him through, let him go and then see it for himself, because that's how we can develop them. Because when we want to put them when they are 20, 21 already, it's too late. So let's have the 16-year-old, 17 years also playing for Bafana Bafana, 16, 17 play for the PSL. So if we can all have that and trust in the development, I think football will be somewhere else.
That makes a lot of sense, Coach Dinha. Back to Shumba football development. Last season, you didn't do very well in the regional league. What have you done this season to ensure that you perform better and compete to be champions?
I think it's the same. What I'm going to tell you is the same. Reason that we had last season and we're going to have again this season, because we have kids that are writing now even metric, so it's very difficult to disturb them and say come and play while they they need the education, because we also say that education is very important. So you find that last season there was a time that we only had 11 players only, and there was no subs, there was no anything, because the rest of them, they were playing they were writing exams. Same again this season again, but I think this season we registered more. We took more from the under 17s and more from the under 19s, that when they are ones that are writing metric like now, we have numbers. So I think this season we're going to compete.
Okay. In the men's regional league, the rules say you must have, I think, 5 under 21 players, and the rest can be any other age. Do you have over age players, or you're just focusing on the 17, 18 and 19 year olds?
Yeah, we do have, I think it should be two or three that are overaged. I think they are 22 if I'm not mistaken, and because we always try to have the 17-year-olds and the under 19s, to feel the heat in the senior team, at that level, so that at least we preparing them, whether they go to MDC, whether they go to NFD or ABC Motsepe League, then they are ready. So we try by all means to bring those young ones to come and play in the men's regional league.
Do you think that maybe is one of the reasons that you do not then challenge for the league, because you are bringing more younger players, while other teams have a lot of overage players because they are targeting to be champions? Do you think that also maybe plays against you?
Two different things. We are a development team, so we develop and we try to make, as I said, we try to give them a better life and a better league. So when we develop, whether it's ABC Motsepe, NFD, MDC, then we know that we have done our part. So yes, if we get our minds to say let's set for the league, then maybe we can do that. But for now, it's all about development and make sure that we finish at a very reasonable position.
Okay. How do you strike the balance between, because most coaches at development level say it's not about winning, it's about developing the player.
Absolutely.
But at the same time, players must develop with a winning mentality. How do you then strike the balance between the two?
Yeah, because with them, they really don't know that wherever that I'm going to play, it's all about I'm going to be developed. So we also instill that mentality of saying, whenever that I play, I also need to have that winning mentality. So when you train them because you want them to win. You want them to be strong. You want them to understand where, when you go forward, how do you score? How do you defend? So all those elements we instill in them so that when they play, it's all about I have to win the game.
Okay. Like you said, you are a development academy. Are there players that have come out of this development academy, went on to maybe NFD or PSL?
Yes, we do have a couple that are playing in the NFD. There's Sugar, who's playing for Pretoria Kellys, and then we've got Bradley Mojela, who's also playing, I think it's Polokwane Rovers, if I'm not mistaken, that is in the NFD. And then we also had Spiwe Matlabu, who was also playing in Botswana in the Premier League. And we have got Hodoba, who's now playing for Skukune MDC. And we also have Tabang Nyamban, who was also playing for Polokwane City. And then we have got also Hlanganisa, who is also playing for Polokwane City NFD. So we've produced quite a few, but we still need to see more, or one or two that will be in the PSL.
Oh, no, that is very great, Coach Dinha. Development, like we've said earlier, requires a lot of resources. Absolutely. And when a team from the upper leagues comes asking for a player, how do you go about negotiating and ensuring at least you get something out of it, because you've put in a lot to develop a player? And obviously you can't just let a player, even though you want players to go to upper leagues, but you can't just let a player go without getting anything in return. What is the policy of the club with regards to allowing players to go to upper leagues? Are there exchanges in terms of monetary things and so on? How do you handle that?
Clubs themselves, I think they know that if you get a youngster from whether it's an academy or development, there is a fee that they need to pay to that academy or development. So whether it's a development fee, the clubs, they know that when they take a youngster, now we need to compensate these guys for the job that they've done looking after this boy, for him to come and play for an A club. So they know that it's a FIFA rule. We don't have to remind them about that. They know that once they come and take, you know that you have to compensate them.
Okay. I know some clubs say they let players go and put clauses like, if you sell them, we get a 10% and so on and so on. So how is your policy? Yours is just what is stated by FIFA, or are there any additional clauses?
I think it's also a relationship that you have, with the teams, because also you must remember that when you have a kid that started playing for you when he was 8 years old, and then up until he gets to 19 years old, and then he gets signed by a PSL team, obviously, he was with you guys. So by the time that he gets signed, obviously, when he signs for a first team, professional contract, then the relationship that you have with the club, obviously, like what you said, the clause in that contract that if he moves from an A club now to a B, C club, then that means there is another also percentage that the development have to get from that.
Okay. Before we go, you captained Orlando Pirates, you captained Ajax, which is now Cape Town Spurs. Both teams are not doing very well in their respective leagues. Do you have a message for your former teams and their fans?
I think let's just say that it's still early, and I think as time goes on, I think the players themselves that they will realize and know exactly why they are playing for such clubs, and also that you've got a family that you need to feed, you have got fans that you have to impress, and also you've got the club that you need to put your name on it so that they will always remember you with that name. So I think it's just a matter of time until everybody get into the groove and start winning games.
Coach, legend, thank you very much for your time and all the best with your team.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure.